What's the word with y'all, man? Back with a new video. I really need to go in the shower, clean myself up, but I wanted to make this quick video. The title is No Place Like Home. Some of you guys might have experienced this before where like you have to leave your home. You gotta leave, you didn't pay the rent. That's usually the situation. Sometimes it's other things that might have happened, but usually it's because you didn't pay the money you was supposed to pay. And like I'm not gonna lie, like having a house is so important. An apartment, just a place to lay your head at. Because you'd be surprised, there's a lot of people who have struggled with maintaining a place because everybody doesn't come from money and circumstances might change. And, if you're young and you're staying with your parents, their situation might change. Like I remember my dad, at one point he was doing something that was making him a lot of money, then he got sick and we fell on hard times. Just remember like those times of like the first time when I had to leave my house, pretty much, get evicted and stuff. It was such a terrible, like I'm not gonna say a terrible experience, but it felt so bad because I'm like, I've been in this house for like 10 plus years. I have a dog, sister, a niece who's like a sister. We're all staying in this place, and then we just gotta up and leave suddenly, leaving your hometown. Not necessarily, I didn't have to leave the hometown, but if you don't have a place, you're gonna go anywhere you can go. So you might have to stay with a family member, a cousin, a friend. And I'm gonna get to that in a second, but I just remember those moments of, I'm walking outside and in some people's, like let's say if you live in a two-family house, sometimes the landlord lives in the basement and you might just run into the landlord like he's coming outside, you coming outside, and it's so awkward because it's like, you're pretty much kicking us out and I'm running into you and you might not have paid the bill, and it just feels mad, like it feels terrible. It just feels bad because I'm like, bro, like we really couldn't upkeep the finance. Now we gotta leave. You might not know where you're gonna go, and your mind is just like racing because you like, man, like I'm really about to leave my house. And it's a very tough situation. Very tough situation. Like now getting to the point of where you're gonna stay at, living with people is not easy. I don't care who it is or how you might feel like you and that person are close. When you're living with somebody, it's a whole different scenario because you seen them, like if you just seen somebody on a day-to-day basis, y'all hang out, whatever. If it was like a friend, you hanging out with them versus you staying with them is so different because you're seeing them constantly. So you're living with them day in, day out, passing by each other. You might have to stay in the same room with this person. You might have to, you guys are so closely connected and you start knowing them on a more deeper level, and it just really could be rough. It might just not work out like the way how you thought it might have went. It's not gonna go that way because living with somebody is just, you really have to have experienced it to know what I'm talking about. But the feeling of when you're first there versus months go by, or some people maybe even a year go by, the feeling definitely changes. Like they might go from wanting you to be there to really not wanting you to be there. Mainly because the house might feel too crowded. You getting into arguments because you being around somebody so much, you just end up kind of getting into it sometimes because you guys are just seeing each other and always in each other's space, and it could just get kind of annoying. And then that feeling of being around somebody who doesn't, like you being somewhere and somebody doesn't want you to be there, it's awful. And you're just thinking to yourself like, man, I really, why am I like in this position? Like you really got to get your own. Like that's a lesson that I want to paint across this video. You having your own is important Because I don't care how many friends or how much family you have who's willing to accept you in, nothing beats having your own place, or just having your own whatever, your own car, your own this. Because you having to rely on other people, it's just not good. Like, that's just not the type of, I feel like that's not the world that we live in. The world that we live in, you need to have your own. I mean, yeah, there's gonna be times when you might need help, and if you do need help, yeah, you should reach out. Of course, if you have that helping hand from somebody and it's a good and a safe environment, then sure, but you really need to have your own. Relying on somebody can only get you but so far. And I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's a family member. I don't care if it's your best friend. It's only gonna go but so far. So you really have to, when you go through these scary situations, because some of you might have went through this, some of you might not have, or you know somebody who's been through it, it really has to be like a wake up call for you to say like, yo, I gotta make a move, ownership, get myself together, get my finances together, get a better job, invest into different things, get out of the regular job type of lifestyle, try to get something bigger. You really got to start thinking outside of the box, especially if you go through these tough situations, because you don't want to be there. You don't want to be there again. So it's like, man, having your own, like, I remember I went through that once. I went through that a second time. I had to bounce from place to place, to this person, to this cousin's house, to this friend's house. And it just made me really, and I'm not saying right now I'm in the best of situations right now, because I'm still getting myself together, but things are a lot better than they were before. And I just know moving forward, I'm going to use my head like, man, you got to really put in the work, really make things happen so that you don't end up, some people don't even have a place to go and they end up being homeless, like completely homeless out in the street, having to stay in a shelter. It really gets real. Life could really get real for some people. So you don't want to be in that situation, or if you're in that situation, you don't want to never have to go through that again in the future. So it's just important to make sure that you get those things that you need so that it doesn't happen to you. So yeah, having a place, it's really like it's a beautiful thing. Having your own place, having your own space, just being able to just do what you want to do, or even if you end up having to live with your parents again, it's still a beautiful thing, because it's like you just know that you're in a secure, safe place that you could lay your head and you could wake up and grind, because we all gotta grind so we could be in the best place, get to the best place, get to the place that we want to be at in the future. So you know I just wanted to make this video really quick. Main lesson of this video: make sure that you get yourself together, grind, and have ownership. Have ownership. Try to get your own. Do not sit here try to rely on other people or asking for handouts. It's really you. It's all on you. And pray about it, make certain moves, but nobody wants to be down, in that type of sense of just not having anything. So make sure that you're having your way and getting the thing that you need to have yourself together. But that's all I wanted to say in this video. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Peace out.